Good day. Welcome to Strategy from a Deeper Perspective, specifically Lesson 1 Strategy Framework. In this lesson, we are going to learn the shown objectives. Now, for introduction, a top management organization is concerned with the selection of a course of action from among different alternatives to meet the organizational objectives. Now, the process in which objectives are being formulated and achieved is known as strategic management, while strategy acts as the mean to achieve the objectives. Strategy also is a grand design or an overall plan which organization chooses in order to move or react towards the set of objectives by using its resources. Now let's jump into strategy timeline. Strategy are being used in military, games, and war. Even before strategy are being used in a military order, such ordering formation in the battlefield. So through the years, strategy took a more formal character through the help of individual studies. They studied about its nature, varied form, and modes of implementation. The shown example are all uses approach called strategy.
I'm Waldim Bipal. My assigned report is Historic Strategy. The beginning of strategy are evident in principles. The prehistory of strategy was seen early in the following person. First person is Sun Tzu, Chinese military general, philosopher, and strategist who wrote The Art of War in 400 BC. The Art of War contains 13 chapters, each detailing specific lines of indirect and direct attack to use in a different circumstances of conflict and war. The second person is Niccolo Machiavelli. Another strategist is explicitly portrayed in the book. The book is The Prince 1513. A short treatise on how to acquire power, create a state, and keep it, the prince represents Machiavelli's effort to provide a guide for political action based on lessons of history and his own experience as a foreign secretary in Florence. Third person is Alfred Chandler. Strategy started to tell a more structured configuration through his writing Strategy and Structure in 1962. For him, structure is the design of the organization through which strategy is administered. The fourth person is Igor Ansov. He wrote the book Corporate Strategy in 1965. One of his strategy is the Ansov Matrix. Is a strategy planning tool that provides a framework to help executive, senior manager, and marketers devise strategy for future business growth. The fifth person is Peter Drucker. From his root, The Age of Continuity in 1969, Peter Drucker is known as a father of management because of his breakthrough contribution to management theory and practice. He was among the first management thinker to suggest that management was a separate science requiring specialized knowledge and skills. The last person is Michael Porters. He wrote Competitive Strategy in 80s and 90s. Porters introduced one of the most powerful competitive tools yet deployed. His three generic strategies is lowest cost, differentiation, and focus, which bring structure to the task of strategic positioning. We all know that Michael Porter's also developed value chain because it is also a useful strategic management tool. And that's all.
So we are done in discussing strategy from a deeper perspective. So we will move on to the three different perspective of strategy. So but before that, we have this following questions. First, how can considering strategy as a concept contribute to achieving a personal and corporate targets? And the second one, when is strategy as a tool the best approach in attaining one's aspirations? And number three, can effective people be the strategy itself? And the last one, can we say that there are specific strategic concepts, tools, and people that are synonymous or practically the same as strategy? We have the strategy model. We have the three perspectives of the strategy. So we have strategy as a concept, strategy as a tool, and strategy as a people. Strategy as a concept. So, strategy as a concept refers to an idea, a theory, a model, or simply views and beliefs. So, due to the popularity of the word strategy, perceptions, and thoughts that evolve through the years, some management gurus considered strategy as an idea, a tool, a model, or simply views and beliefs. So, in this section, we will discuss the concept related to strategy, and also it includes intellectual elasticity, mindset, learning, intellectual capital, and natural capital. Kenichi Omi is known or has been described as Mr. Strategy in his native Japan. He is also known as the chairman of the Japan office of McKinsey and Company, which is known as the international consulting firm. His special interest and area of expertise was formulating creative strategies and developing organizational concepts to implement them. He is also known for his book, The Mind of the Strategist, that was published in 1982, wherein he says that strategies came from creative minds and not from rote memory. So he emphasized also that there are no magic formulas for creating brilliant formulas. Although there is no secret formula for inventing a successful strategy, but he said that there are some specific concepts and approaches that can help anyone develop the kind of mentality that come up with the superior strategic ideas. Kenichi Omi is also known for developing the concept of an idiosyncratic mode of thinking, what we call strategic thinking. So this concept underscores that the mind of the strategist is characteristically that is of intellectual elasticity. In a business as on the battlefield, Omi says that the concept of strategy was to bring about the conditions most favorable to one's own side. So, what marks the mind of the strategist is the intellectual elasticity or the flexibility and or adaptability which enables him to come up with those realistic responses to changing situations or circumstances, particularly in the business environment. When designing business strategy, it is important to take into account these three main players or known as the 3C model, Omi's 3C model. First, we have the company, the customers, and the competitors. So, why company? So, the company should be genuinely interested in the needs of the customers, as doing the same will automatically take care of the shareholders' profits, sales, and other crucial objectives of the business. The second one is the customers. So the company should understand the requirements of the customers. They should be able to understand or meet the needs and demand of the customers. And the last one is the competitors. So knowing or figuring out who are those direct and indirect competitors, and also other crucial facets that is important to work out the plan to beat the competition and to gain the advantage. When we say direct competitors, those business or company offering similar product or services in the same market. And when we say indirect competitors, those who serve company or businesses that serve the customer's needs but offer different products and or services. Strategy as a mindset. So when we say strategy as a mindset, as a mental or a thinking process that is applied by an individual in the context of achieving a goal or a set of goal in a game or other endeavor. So are you familiar with Richard Pascali? So Richard Pascali is a faculty of a graduate school of business at Stanford University, and he is also an associate professor at Oxford University. So in his book Managing the Edge, he considers strategy as a frame of mind and an attitude, and also added that nothing fails like success. So which means that any cycle of success begins with an organization coming up with a strategy concept that is a product and or a service, and then organizes itself around the basic product or service, and in the process creates a culture and personality with itself. So the company enjoys the success and the success begins to falter. So it means that naturally the organization goes back to basic and tries to rediscover its old success formula. But remember that the company should always manage the present from the future. So in other words, adopt strategies that are realistic but visionary and anticipatory. He said also that Richard Pascali said also that a strategic mindset is always active and innovative. It is pulsating, it is alive, it is filled with ideas, and it is always looking for the future to deal with the present. And that is a strategy as a mindset. So strategy as learning, or strategy is learning. So one of the more widely discussed of the concepts of strategy today is based on the learning organizational model. So when we say learning, it refers to any old knowledge and competencies that is gained or enhanced from either books, persons, institutions, trainings, and others. We have forms of learning domains. First, we have the innovation and differentiation. The second one is continuous improvement, continuous adaptation, and benchmarking. So when we say innovation, it is about learning new concepts and new ways of doing things. It means creating new knowledge, new products, and new ways of thinking. So the shade of innovation is called as differentiation. So it refers to improving, enhancing, and enriching what is existent. And then the second one is continuous improvement. When we say continuous improvement, it is an ongoing, constant process of doing things better, which means it is an improvement of life cycle never ends. An improvement life cycle that never ends. We have the continuous adaptation. So after continuous improvement, we have the continuous adaptation, which refers to how we respond to changes in the environment, and which implies flexibility, resilience, and a spirit of openness to change. And the last one is the benchmarking. So when we combine continuous improvement and continuous adaptation, it encourages to benchmarking. It is a standard or a point of reference against which things may be compared and or assessed. So when we say learning in the organization, it carried the spirit of aiming to the best, and the strategy is learning because it adapts to the given situation. And also this is when strategy is continuous learning. Strategy as natural capital. So according to Hawken et al. 1999, looked strategy as natural capital. According to Hawken, he emphasized that both environment and economic priorities are compatible with one another. So when taken in this light, the natural capital creates a competitive advantage. So thus, it is in this instance that strategy is considered as a natural capital. So we have components of natural capital such as the ecosystems and the natural resources. Strategy as intellectual capital. So when we say intellectual capital, it is the result of mental processes that form a set of intangible objects that can be used in economic activity and bring income to its owner, recovering the competencies of its people. So when we say strategy as intellectual capital, it is the synergistic confluence and interrelationships of the organization's valued resources. So which means it is intangible. Although not visible and concrete, intellectual capital can be felt, it can be assessed, and also it sometimes makes the different, but oftentimes it is different. So there is a book of intellectual capital that was published in 2014. So it considers two categories of knowledge. We have the common knowledge and the intellectual capital. When we say common knowledge, as a trite and ordinary, which means it satisfies minimum expectations and knowledge. But when we say intellectual capital, a knowledge that is significant and outstanding, according to Young 2004, that is strategic as intellectual capital.
So let's move on to strategy as a tool. Strategy as a tool is a process, a techniques of doing things and making important strategic decision. So we already know that strategy is a method used in every organization in order to achieve its goals and objectives. So it involves a series of actions or steps that are taken over time to address challenges or opportunities. It uses specific methods, tactics, and approaches in order to stay competitive and reach its company success. So strategy is a fundamental tool in the world of business. It helps companies navigate complexities in the marketplace, achieve its objectives, and stay competitive. In today's dynamic business landscape, effective strategic planning is essential for organization success. So there are two critical tools that plays vital roles in the world of business. In this regard are information technology and the balanced scorecard. Information technology has significant impact on mainstream to laptop, computers, designing things, manufacturing, and doing things cannot be overlooked. It makes our work easier, simpler, and efficient. Information technology has transformed the way organizations conduct business. It enables them to gather, store, and analyze vast amount of data, and this data-driven decision-making approach helps in understanding market trends, customers' behavior, and competitive strategies. The advent of communication technology such as video conferencing, emails, has streamlined communication within and outside the organization. This facilitates the sharing of strategic goals, updates, collaboration within the team, which is crucial in strategy execution. Information technology also is instrumental in reaching and engaging customers through digital marketing channels, social media, online advertisement, and commerce platform provide opportunities to execute marketing strategies effectively. One is the balance scorecard. So the balance scorecard is a strategic management tool that can be used by managers to keep track of the execution of the activities. The balance scorecard is a strategic management framework that helps the organization manage and measure performances from multiple perspectives. So this perspective includes financial, like revenue, profit, and return on investment. Customers' perspective, emphasizing customer satisfaction, loyalty, and market share. Internal processing perspective, assessing the effectiveness of internal and external operations. Learning and growth perspective, assessing employees' training, innovation, and organization culture. Scorecard is important in strategic planning because it provides a balanced view of organization's performance considering not only financial indicators but also non-financial aspects. It enables continuous performance monitoring by setting specific targets and measuring progress towards strategic goals. It also allows for flexibility in adapting strategy as needed. If certain metrics indicate that the strategy isn't working, they can easily make adjustments. Incorporating the balanced scorecard framework in strategic planning ensures that the strategy is not only well-formed but also effectively executed and monitored. Using these tools effectively, the information technology and the balanced scorecard can lead to well-informed strategic planning and execution, thereby driving an organization towards its desired objectives and long-term success.
So my topic is all about strategy as a people. So people as a strategy, it refers to the idea that an organization's most valuable asset is its people. And who are these people? So they are the executives, managers, supervisors, subordinates, and anyone who leads, directs, and supports the organizations towards the realizations of objectives. So they are strategy personified. They are the individuals who possess effective management and leadership, creativity, and monopolistic intellectual capital. Effective management and leadership. So, while management and leadership are both distinct realities, their effectiveness is their common denominator. And one prominent person who has been considered as the guru of all management gurus is Peter Drucker. Having written 38 books and many articles on management and strategy, he has placed the study and practice of management to a level of great importance. And his book, The Practice of Management, is considered today as the true management book written, where he extensively discussed what management is, its practice, and the role of the managers. Also, there are various examples of individuals who exemplify strategy as both effective management and leadership. So their corporate careers are best examples of how their being effective managers and leaders have become winning strategies for their organization. So some of them include Alfred Sloan. So Sloan is a professional manager where he spelled out the role of a manager as a leader and a decision maker. Another one is Harold Genen, where he is the greatest business manager after Sloan. So his philosophy was to decide what one wants to do and start doing it. So another one is Lee Iacocca. So Lee is one of the most widely read biographies in management and leadership. So he has a wonderful administrative ideas that are workable. And according to him, managers are not just a decision makers, but also motivators with a team spirit. Next is we have creativity. So, it is a strategy that is created by a team usually consisting of copywriters, an art director, and a creative director. So, these professionals come together to create a strategy that is going to help the marketing campaign meet the specific goals of the company has set out. So, as I have said, those are the individuals or people who are part of the company and who've helped in executing strategies through their ideas that will help in marketing campaigns. So one realizes that the challenge today for every organization is creativity. And according to Geoffrey Moore, in his book Cruising the Chasm, states there that the organizations are given opportunities to be creative in the context of environment. So it is important to that in an organization, the managers or leader foster a culture of creativity as it helps to keep the organization competitive. And we also have strategy in monopolistic intellectual capital. So, as mentioned earlier, strategy is intellectual capital. So, it is a competitive advantage in the form of unique knowledge, ideas, and information that can be essential in shaping the business strategy.